Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the celebration. I believe will come history. My welcome goes not only from me, but also from Dr. Tomasz Rożek, the ambassador of the Silesian Festival of Science in Katowice. I'd like to extend my warm welcome. I'd like to explain that I'm in quarantine and we'll be talking about science today a lot. Technology allows me to connect with you and meet you this way. And I was welcomed by Jarosław Juszkiewicz, this journalist, but also the ambassador of the Silesian Festival of Science. We would like to welcome you in this hybrid way. We would like to welcome President of Katowice, Dr. Marcin Krupa. Welcome to Polish Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki. Welcome to the Secretary of State, the Ministry of Education and Science, Wojciech Murdzek. And Silesian Voivode, Jarosław Wieczorek. The Marshal of the Śląskie Voivodeship is also with us, Jakub Chełstowski, as well as the President of Upper Silesia Dąbrowa Basin Metropolis, Kazimierz Karolczak. We'd like to welcome the Chairman of the City Council of Katowice, Maciej Biskupski, and rectors of 7 public universities located in Katowice. Professor Władysław Szymański, rector of Karol Szymanowski Academy of Music in Katowice. Professor Grzegorz Hańderek, rector of the Academy of Fine Arts and Design in Katowice. We thank very much this university for our graphic and visuals during this celebration. Professor Grzegorz Juras, rector of Jerzy Kukuczka Academy of Physical Education in Katowice. Professor Arkadiusz Mężyk, rector of the Silesian University of Technology and also president of Conference of Rectors of Academic Schools in Poland, as well as Professor Tomasz Szczepański, rector of Medical University of Silesia in Katowice. Professor Celina Olszak is not with us today, the rector of the University of Economics in Katowice. On her behalf, we would like to welcome Professor Maciej Nowak, the vice rector. And Professor Ryszard Koziołek, rector of the University of Silesia in Katowice, and the general director of Silesian Festival of Science in Katowice. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome the academic community of Katowice, chairmen and members of university councils, presidents of student and PhD students' governments. I'd like to welcome Mateusz Grochowski, the chairman of the Parliament of Students. I'd like to welcome the president of National Representation of PhD Candidates, Jarosław Orszański, as well as the chairman of the Perspektywy Foundation. Ladies and gentlemen, this event will make history because I imagine that several hundred years of the history of this region, not only of industry, but also social history, meets today at this time. Is it true? Yes, I think for majority of us, it is quite obvious that this region was based on technology. It might seem strange today because technologies connected with mining seem as a burden today, but technologies change and we should follow that. This region, or in any ways, was based on technology. And the fact that we meet today is the natural consequence of that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment. We will be informed on the award of the title, and this news will be spread to us by Michael Matlosz, Professor Michael Matlosz, President of Neuroscience.
Technology. My name is Michael Matlosz, President of Neuroscience, and I'm speaking to you from our headquarters here in Strasbourg, France. I am very sorry not to be able to join you in person for the press conference in Katowice, but I am very happy and proud to announce that Neuroscience has chosen Katowice for the title of European City of Science 2024. My sincere congratulations to all those in Katowice, along with your partners, who have worked so hard in preparation of your candidacy for the European City of Science. Once again, congratulations on the title of European City of Science 2024.
Drodzy Państwo, mamy to.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have it.
Katowice są europejską stolicą nauki 2024.
European Capital of Science 2024. I'd like to ask the host of the meeting, President of Katowice, Dr. Marcin Krupa, to take the floor now.
Szanowny Panie Premierze,
Mr. Prime Minister,
Panie Marszałku, Panie Wojewodo, Panie Przewodniczący,
Marshal,
wielce
Voivode,
szanowni
Presidents,
rektorzy naszych katowickich, śląskich
our
uczelni
distinguished rectors of the
i
Katowice region,
rektorze, myślę,
and
matki wszystkich uczelni,
rector, the mother
Panie
of all universities,
profesorze Ryszardzie.
Professor Ryszard.
Muszę powiedzieć, że jestem bardzo podekscytowany i rzadko kiedy
I'm
bywa, że
very
jestem zestresowany, a
excited.
dzisiaj jestem
It's
mega
very rare that
zestresowany, nie
I'm
wiem
stressed
czemu.
out, but I'm very
Tym bardziej,
stressed
że
out today.
usłyszałem, że
I don't know why. The more so,
otrzymaliśmy to,
as I heard that
o
we
co
have
wspólnie
what
staraliśmy się.
we have been
Tak od razu
working
przychodzi mi do
for.
głowy, co teraz? Otwierać
What
szampany,
now?
czy
I'm
się
beginning to
cieszyć,
think,
czy
open the champagne
płakać?
bottles,
Dlaczego płakać?
rejoice, or to cry.
Pojawiło
Why
się
to
wielkie
cry?
obciążenie.
Because I know what kind of burden it is and what kind of challenge and work to be performed.
To jest
I think
wielkie
that
wyzwanie dzisiaj dla nas.
this great challenge for us, first of all,
Ten tytuł, który
because
zobowiązuje
thanks to
nasze
this
szerokie
title,
inwestycje, aż myślę o moim budżecie europejskim,
we will have to invest a lot. I'm thinking about our city budget, but also about budgets of our universities. These investments must go into science but also to the society, our citizens.
również nowe przedsięwzięcia.
These are also new enterprises. We have shown,
Zrobić dobrą robotę.
professors, rectors, that we can perform great job. I'm thinking about the Silesian Science Festival, which has become one of the greatest events of that kind in Central Eastern Europe. Another very important issue is the issue of a cooperation. The local government and the academic institutions. This has already happened, although we are at the onset of our way. I'd like to thank a lot to all of you because the idea came from the academic institutions. We have contributed something on our part from the city of Katowice, saying that yes, we do care about it because there's a new vision of Katowice, something that we're trying to do many times. It's also about showing off the culture of our region. And thanks to this cooperation, we are showing science, so something which is a very important element of our Silesian soil, not just of Katowice, because I heard about 7 universities. One of them is based actually in Gliwice. One of my bosses, actually, because I am a graduate of, also a staff member of that technical university. It is important that we have managed to create a team which has shown its best, and the decision that we heard today, we have got this title. This is a great thing. I'd like to remark that it wouldn't have happened were it not for the assistance from the Marshal and the Voivode of Silesian Voivodeship. Well, they were giving us their support. They were always saying that they are ready to contribute. Several university projects have already been placed with the Marshal, and this will bear fruit in 2024 when we'll be hosting the guests from all around the world. I'd also like to thank for the Prime Minister that he's with us today at this very important event. You may not have known that I talked to the Prime Minister about our efforts to become the candidate. And I was asking for discretion not to tell anyone that we are trying to do so. The Prime Minister said, please do go on, work, and I support your efforts. Thank you very much for your support and for your presence. And the third, a very important thing, the issue of cooperation. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot about the President Karolczak, who was right from the beginning. The metropolis, great contribution, great force, great partner, I think will be continuing this process of cooperation in connection with that title. Another important thing, the issue of what we want to achieve. Our aim is for the science which is actually done on everyday basis, every academic institution. We want to make this science visible for our citizens and useful for them. Those who have already finished their education and those who are in the process and then who are thinking about which school to choose in the future. We want our universities to be not just ours. It's not that only Silesian people study in Silesia. We want those universities to be open for everyone from all Poland to participate in important research, which is conducted, the research important for Europe and the world. We also want to attract students from abroad, from Berlin, New York, from every place in the globe. I think that together we can do that. I hope that in 2-3 years, when we meet again to celebrate the title, we will be able to open the champagne bottles then, and we will be able to say we've made it. Isaac Newton said once that science is just a drop in the ocean of ignorance. I think that with this team, we can depart for the ocean and try to get the science. I thank you all for the contribution that you've made in awarding of this title to us, and I'm sure that we'll all be proud for our next achievement. Culture, science. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to ask the Prime Minister, Mateusz Morawiecki, to take the floor now. Mr. President, Marshal, Voivode, Minister, ladies and gentlemen, dear citizens of Katowice and all of you who are joining us with joy to observe this great event. Congratulations. I'm very glad. I'm very happy. I'm glad that the European City of Science for 2024 is Katowice. Katowice, like in the optical lens, they gather all the technical projects, scientific projects, aspirations related to the future. It's great that, as we can see here in this banner, life changes science. I think that it's also true to say that science changes life. Science changes our life very quickly. Science can influence, contribute to this region's development into the region of victory, not just for now, but decades to come. We know what great changes, technological, industrial changes have been going through in the Upper Silesia in the recent years. But just like culture was successfully promoted, Katowice is indeed one of the cities of culture, one of the leading cities. And I'd also like, thanks to all the rectors who are with us today, who are the fathers of this success. So I'd like Katowice to become the incubator of science, and thanks to which we'll be all gathering the fruit, the crop of this science in the social life in the new era, in the new epoch, which may be better, the epoch in which work can be done more easily, maybe not so dangerous. And I believe that it's going to be like that. It's going to be more developing, giving satisfaction to all the citizens. I'm glad that the choice of Katowice for the European capital and city of science will be a very important step to the implementation of this strategy for the whole Upper Silesia. Just like the president of Katowice said, the potential of Silesian universities hasn't been used to its full potential so far. Katowice, as the European City of Science, will contribute to this great project to open the window of Silesian science to all Poland, but also to the whole of Europe. Because here in Katowice, in Silesia, the great potential is concentrated. Whatever is needed, the potential of science cooperating with industry, with the local businesses, science which opens new perspectives of social and economic development. I'm convinced that this title given to Katowice will be a great step towards the future, that the Polish science, the Silesian science, will make a very important contribution to the development of Poland and Europe. Congratulations to all citizens of Katowice and Upper Silesia. This success, this award of the European City of Science. I'm glad that in a bit more than 2 years, we will be entering this 2014 year. I'm convinced the year when many, many projects will be developed with Katowice as the city of science. Let this period be an impulse for great development. I'm convinced that this is going to happen. Once more, congratulations. Thank you very much. I'd like to ask Wojciech Murczek, the Secretary of State and the Minister of Science, to take the floor now. Prime Minister, Mr. President, Mr. Marshal, Voivode, Their Magnificences, presidents, all present here. This is our common satisfaction for all of us. This success has a very unique background. In those few words that have been already told, we can see a great ability to cooperate of the local government, academic institutions, students, society, all the institutions which sense this great potential. The moment is going to be an incentive for others also to join in. For instance, the private universities, we will try to include and invite other universities from the region, from Rybnik, from Częstochowa, Bielsko-Biała. Just like Prime Minister said, this is going to be a great impulse for Poland, and this will position us at a very advantaged place in comparison to other European institutions. This award of this European City of Science is a great foundation for exposing all these things which are already important. We do not start from the scratch. Our contribution in medicine, for instance, cardiology, it's a history that we have lived through and we have experienced, but we also should mention biology, chemistry, the power of the modern technologies. This list is very long. I'm not going to try to mention everything. We are not just concentrating on the achievements of the Silesian universities, where this contribution has been given for many, many years. The fact that it has been acknowledged and noticed is a reason to be glad and proud of this. We can develop this in a beautiful way, as the Prime Minister said. He has already done a lot. This has got its financial dimension too. I shouldn't be maybe speaking about this, but this is already happening. The personal engagement and determination of Prime Minister can be actually exemplified. I'm not going to talk about it, but we've got a great ally in our Prime Minister. We are from Lower Silesia, together with Prime Minister. The transformation wasn't so successful in Wałbrzych because it wasn't properly prepared. Here, the transition is much smoother, something which happens very gently and slowly. We have to replace the previous era with something more attractive. The number of students already outnumbers the number of workers in coal mines. We've got access to this kind of data. This is actually one of the examples of this transformation through science and knowledge in the direction of responding to the challenges of life, and also which also positions us in a very positive way in Europe, and in the sense we can participate in international teams, research teams on world level. We've got nothing to be ashamed of. Sometimes we look through the lens of rankings, but this is also getting better and better. We are more and more effective in implementing the research achievements, and this is going to be even further developed here in Silesia. I wish for this impulse to be a new deal for all of us, which will significantly change all these positive things which already are here, but which may bring this region to a place that it deserves. We have to be aware that many institutions and universities work for this. This space is going to be developing. There will be more and more reasons to open this champagne. I'm very glad. Congratulations, and thank you for the work that you have done so far. Thank you very much. I'd like to ask now the rector of the University of Silesia, the leader of the consortium, Professor Ryszard Koziołek, to take the floor. Prime Minister, President's Minister, colleagues, rectors, our guests. This is a great day as a result of efforts of many people from many institutions, from the universities, the city, friends from Europe and the world. Katowice is going to be the European City of Science in 2024. So this informal capital of European science. We could compare it to the organization of the European Scientific Olympics, which will be all year long. There are many great academic centers in Poland and Europe. I think that what convinced Neuroscience and President Martin Matlosz is the narration of how science and development is important for this region, what it can become as a result of development of Silesian universities, in what way education and science may be a new unique industry of Silesian, and our universities will be a great instrument of transformation of the region. Silesia, for decades, has attracted people from Poland, but also from Europe. It attracted them with the promise of work, better life, career opportunities, thanks to the connection of the openness of the local community and technology development. A unique material and spiritual culture has been born. This is our contribution in the future of Poland and Europe. We have paid a great price for this development. We have to mention the degradation of natural environment. Nature pays for it. People who live here pay for it. They need a change. They need a new impulse. They need a change. Behind me, there is Rava River, a river which doesn't have so much water as pollution from the industries. This is our form of conscience. Thanks to education and science, we are capable of working out instruments to make life here in this region better. Silesia is the space where applied science has always found a great opportunity for development. I'm sure that thanks to this title, it will develop even further. In a certain sense, the history of Silesia is the past and the future of Europe. We could summarize all the problems and challenges facing the Western man. This place, this has produced the rivalry. It's time to get wiser. It's time to study life, to change it, to transform it, listen to life and what life needs. We have to listen to science, which gives us answers and promises how to make our lives better, to mend the things that we have done not so well. I'd like to wish to all of us to make a proper use of this title. All of those who contributed and are still contributing to the realization of this initiative, including the presence of prime ministers. I'd like to say that the investment into science is good, it's proper, it's good for the people who live here and for those who will come after us. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Professor Koziołek. Thank you very much. I'd like to ask Professor Arkadiusz Mężyk, Rector of the Silesian University of Technology and President of the Conference of Rectors of Academic Schools in Poland, to take the floor. Prime Minister, Presidents, Marshal Voivodes, Magnificent, all our guests of the Silesian universities, for whom the good of Silesian voivodeship is important. I'm very happy at the success of Katowice, which is the capital of the Upper Silesian region. It's not only the success of this city, but the whole region. Katowice is no island. All these efforts that are born here radiate to the whole region. The previous years of transformation have shown how important it is to have important academic institutions in the region in order to attract investors and to stimulate economic developments. This success, which we are observing right now in Upper Silesia, is derived from the fact that many investments have already been done here and many people saw their future here in Upper Silesia. It is very wise policy of the previous president, whom I can see here, Piotr Uszok, and President Marcin Krupa, who have decided to make a very drastic step, very drastic decisions, which have actually brought very fruitful transformation of Katowice. The former Katowice coal mine has become the center of culture. This city, which was proud for steel and coal, has changed, transformed into a city of culture, city of science. The success of Silesian Festival of Science is a proof of that. Also, the climatic summit, which took place here a few years ago, this all is proof that this city is a great environment for all who are interested in academic and research activity. Those universities which have signed the consortium agreements, non-public institutions, all the schools which would like to contribute to this transformation of the region. As already mentioned, the achievements of science and technological development were not always used wisely. Sometimes the natural resources have been exploited to such an extent that they actually caused damage. Nowadays, we would like the universities and academic institutions combined and joined into the effort of leaving this region as an asset to the new generations to come. Ladies and gentlemen, signing of this agreement today is the beginning of a new epoch in the life of the city. Throughout the last years, we have been learning how to organize the cooperation between science and local businesses and local governments. Many experiences which come from this period can now be utilized to make it even better. Great words of thanks come to the Marshal of the Silesian Voivodeship, which make the positive use of this potential possible. Let's use it for the whole region, for whole country, and for the mankind. Thank you very much, Professor Tomek, an important moment. What I'd like to say, well, you actually said what I wanted to say. All hands on board. If we work individually, nothing's going to happen. A great introduction to all which happens here is the Silesian Festival of Science, which you have heard already many times. I'd like to invite all the rectors who are with us today to sign the consortium agreement. The first one to sign it, I'd like to invite Professor Władysław Szymański, the rector of Karol Szymański Academy. The next signature will be given by Professor Grzegorz Hajnderek from the Academy of Fine Arts and Design in Katowice. The next person whom I'd like to ask to sign the document is the rector of Jerzy Kukuczka Academy of Physical Education. Thank you very much. I'd like to invite Professor Arkadiusz Mężyk from the Silesian University of Technology. I'd like to invite the rector of the Medical University of Silesia, Professor Tomasz Szczepański. Thank you very much. I'd like to invite Professor Maciej Nowak, representing the University of Economics in Katowice. Thank you very much. The person who was speaking on behalf of the University of Economics was the rector, Professor Celina Olszak. I'd like to invite now Professor Ryszard Koziołek, rector of the University of Silesia in Katowice. Thank you very much. Last but not least, the signature of President of Katowice, Dr. Marcin Krupa. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Please stay with us because we would like to all the people who signed the document for a common photograph together. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment which makes the history. Thank you very much. Tomek, many words have been said today. We should return to the issue of this being not just our success, but also success of all Polish science. Yes, this is true, but I think it would be nice to think what this can mean for all of us. Titles sometimes are good as titles and not much follows from that, but it is good to reflect upon what can actually result from it for us. We are aware that our Prime Minister is in a hurry and will have to leave us very soon. Thank you very much for being our guest today. Please head safely to the north. The other guests are kindly asked to remain with us, as well as the media representatives. Some other speeches will be also made. As one of our hosts said, this title and this agreement would not have been possible were it not for the work of representatives of our region. I'd like Marshal of the Silesian Voivodeship, Jakub Chełstowski, to take the floor now. Very shortly, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to Katowice. Hearty congratulations to all rectors for your hard work. Silesia is generally changing all the time. This is one of the titles that we have received recently, but it's very important. We are the European Region of Entrepreneurship for 2021-2022, the Committee of the Regions, European City of Science 2024, Championship of Athletics, European Championships of Athletics in 2023 and 2028. A lot of things are happening, a lot of things ahead of us. Marshall will support all these projects when it comes to this funds that we have at our disposal, transformation funds. And one of these issues is low emission industry. The other point, which I'd like to mention, an obligation, academic forum. We will be supporting all of you in those efforts. We'll be creating this financial and organizational space. This is industry, well, maybe academic sector, which gives a chance, which gives development for the future generations. The best proof for that these are not just empty words. Well, we see each other in a month in Dubai, where the Silesian Festival of Science will be shown at Expo. So it shows that we make very important contribution in the science. This change based on innovation and knowledge in many areas represented by all of you. Of course, the parliament of the Silesian Voivodeship has been accepted. This cooperation with the government, with all of you, assures us that it is worth to support all these efforts. We think that the academic sectors is the basis of the future of our region. Europe also is looking at Silesia, watching us how we go through this transformation. This is now in your hands. I'm convinced that this is going to be a great time for Silesia and for Poland. Thank you very much. Before the next person comes to speak to us, we'd like to ask the Secretary General, Matthias Giraud, to say a few words, the Secretary General of Neuroscience. Good afternoon, Secretary. What did the title give to the other cities, the previous cities? What the title contributed to the other institutions and cities?
Thank you very much to invite us here. And well, the title was quite a thing for the cities that held it before. It really gave visibility to the local science, to the local universities, and it really brought these cities for at least that year, but not only that, together with the legacy also for the upcoming years, into the spotlight of European science.
Dziękujemy bardzo za tę wypowiedź, drodzy Państwo. Sekretarz generalny Euroscience,
Thank you very
Matthias
much.
Giro.
Secretary
A
General
teraz już
of
na
Neuroscience,
scenę
Matthias
zaprosimy
Giro.
naszego kolejnego gościa, Tomku.
I'd like to invite now
Przewodniczącego
our next
Górnośląsko-Zagłębiowskiej
guest,
Metropolii
the
Kazimierza
president
Karolczaka.
of the Upper Silesia Dąbrowa Basin Metropolis, Kazimierz Karolczak.
Panie prezydencie, panie ministrze, szanowni państwo,
Mr.
wasze
President,
magnificencje. Ja również, jak pan prezydent Marcin Krupa, jestem mocno podekscytowany tą
Mr.
wiadomością.
Directors, I'm very excited about
dla Katowic,
this
dla
news.
metropolii.
Congratulations, this is great news for Katowice and for the metropolis. It has been said that this is the long-term work that has been already done, initiated by President Uszok, the call for the battle for the awarding of the title. I think that no one doubts today that Katowice is the city of culture. The proof of that is the culture zone, which promotes the city very much these days. Another area which is very powerful here is the science, is the academic community. We have a great potential. I'm sure that this decision to award Katowice the title will make us, will contribute to the development of this second leg, not just culture, but also science. This is going to be a center of development in the future. Hearty congratulations. The metropolis is going to support all these efforts. Within the metropolis of local governments and the local universities will support this
Szanowni
development
Państwo,
with us.
poproszę o zabranie głosu przewodniczącego
Ladies and
Parlamentu
gentlemen,
Studentów
I'd like
EP
to
Mateusza Grochowskiego.
ask Mateusz Grochowski, the representative of Students' Parliament, to say a few words now.
Szanowni Państwo, ja serdecznie
Ladies
gratuluję
and
przede
gentlemen,
wszystkim
congratulations
otrzymania
first
tytułu
of all.
Europejskiej Stolicy Nauki.
The award
Ale
of
z tym
this
wydarzeniem wiąże się
title,
również jedno,
this
można powiedzieć,
event
wydarzenie, jakim jest
connects
otwarte
us
forum
to
Euroscience
one of
2024.
sub-events, the
Jedno z największych
Euroscience
wydarzeń na mapie
Sub-Forum,
naukowej Europy,
one
ale
of the
również duża
greatest
szansa
events
dla
on the
młodych
scientific
naukowców,
map
nie
of
tylko z
Europe,
Polski,
but also a
ale
great
również
chance for young
spoza granic
scientists,
Polski, z
not just from
Europy.
Poland, but also
Niezmiernie cieszy
from
fakt
abroad.
współpracy uczelni śląskich.
We are
a
glad
przez
that
to
Silesian
również samorządów
universities
studenckich.
cooperate,
Tak,
and
mam
through
nadzieję,
this
że
also
studenci będą
student
zaangażowani w ten
governments
proces, wykorzystają
cooperate.
szansę
I'm sure that
nie tylko
students
dla
will be
regionu, ale
engaged in
dla,
this
również
cooperation.
dla
They will
środowiska
make
akademickiego,
use
ale w
of this
szczególności dla
chance
środowiska
for this
studenckiego.
academic community
Tutaj
and
trzeba
student
wspomnieć jeszcze o
community
jednej
to
rzeczy
develop.
bardzo ważnej,
One
o
more thing
tym,
has to be
jak istotna i
mentioned,
cenna jest popularyzacja nauki.
how
W
important
dobie ostatnich fake newsów,
popularization
których
of
my jako
science
Parlament Studentów
is.
RP również się
Well,
spotkaliśmy w trakcie tygodnia szczepień. Nauka,
fake
którą my
news
prezentujemy, jest
that
niezwykle
we have
ważna. Pokazywanie, jak jest istotna
faced in
i co
the
dzięki niej
recent period
wypracowaliśmy. Jeszcze
shows
raz
how
serdecznie chciałbym złożyć
the
na ręce
true
pana
scientific
profesora, pana rektora
information is possible
Ryszarda Koziołka,
has been
przewodniczącego
already shown.
konsorcjum
I'd like to
Katowice,
thank
Miasto Nauki.
Professor
Serdeczne
Koziołek.
gratulacje. Życzyć tego
Once
owocnego
again,
2024
congratulate
roku
once
i mimo,
again
że
and
zapewne już
wish
nie będę
this
studentem, to
2024
zawsze
to
będę chciał
the
wspierać
year when I
inicjatywy, a
probably
ze
will
swojej
be no
strony
longer
jako
student
przewodniczącego Parlamentu
to be a
Studentów
great
RP
year for all of us.
deklarujemy wszelkie wsparcie.
We declare our
Dziękujemy
support
bardzo.
on behalf of all the students in Poland.
Dziękuję bardzo. Tak pomyślałem, że
Thank you
byłoby
very much.
niezręcznie życzyć panu, żeby pan
I
jednak był tym
thought
studentem jak najdłużej. Ale z drugiej
It
strony bycie
wouldn't be
studentem jest całkiem
proper
fajne,
to
więc
wish you
tak połówkowo życzę panu i
stay
nie
a
życzę.
student for such a
A
long
na
time,
scenę
so I
zapraszam
wish
przewodniczącego Krajowej
wish you that.
Reprezentacji
I'd like to
doktora
ask
Jarosława
now
Olszewskiego.
the chairman of the National Representation of PhD Candidates, Jarosław Olszański.
Szanowni Państwo, ja wszystkim
Ladies and
konsorcjatom, jak
gentlemen,
również
Tutaj stronie
I'd
rządowej
like to
gratuluję i
congratulate
nas
all
również
the
jako
members of the
doktorantki, doktorantów w
consortium.
Polsce, jako tę
We as
najmłodszą
PhD
część
candidates,
społeczności
as
akademickiej,
the youngest
niezmiernie to wydarzenie cieszy. W pełni
layer
jesteśmy
of
przygotowani na to,
academic
żeby je
community
wspierać. I
are
tutaj
very happy
wspólnie
that
jednym głosem mówimy z
the title has been
studentami,
given
że
to Katowice.
popularyzacja jest
We
niezwykle ważna. Że
say
tak naprawdę
together
w czasach, można powiedzieć,
and together with
upadku
the students
takich
we say that popularization of
bezwzględnych
science is
autorytetów
extremely
akademickich, gdzie
important.
każdy z nas ma
In
dostęp
the
do
era of the
nieograniczonej
fall
wiedzy,
of great
to
academic
właśnie my, młodzi naukowcy,
authorities,
musimy
where science is accessible
naciskać
to
na to,
everyone.
żeby to, co
We, the
mówimy,
young
to, co
scientists,
publikujemy
have
w
to
mediach,
stress
żeby to
that
było
what we
potwierdzone, żeby
say,
to było
what we
zgodne
publish
z faktami,
is
żeby to było
proven,
naukowe. I my
is
również chcemy
supported
działać,
with
szczególnie w
hard
kontekście
evidence.
tego,
We
aby
also would like
popularyzacja
to work
była
towards
rozpatrywana jako
popularization
równorzędna ścieżka kariery naukowej, ponieważ jest nam
as
niezwykle w
a
tej chwili
parallel path
potrzebna,
of academic
abyśmy jako
development.
społeczeństwo
It's
dorastali
necessary to all
do
of
osiągnięć
us,
naszej nauki, którą
as
całemu
society,
społeczeństwu
for
akademickiemu
us to
serdecznie życzę.
grow,
I w imieniu swoim, jak również
and
wszystkich
participate
doktorantów
in
w
the
Polsce,
development of
gwarantujemy,
science.
że chętnie włączymy
We
się w ten projekt. Dziękuję serdecznie.
Grant
Dziękujemy
our
bardzo.
support, we declare our support to all these
Szanowni
efforts.
Państwo, doszliśmy do końca dzisiejszej
Ladies and gentlemen,
uroczystości.
we have arrived at the final
Teraz zwracam się do
stage
mediów.
of our
Nasi goście, szanowni Państwo profesorowie, pan
event.
prezydent są do Państwa dyspozycji.
Now
Można
our
im
guests
zadawać pytania
will
już
be
w części nieoficjalnej.
ready
My z
to
doktorem Tomaszem
us
Rożkiem
to
bardzo
answer all
dziękujemy za tę
your questions
uroczystość
in
i
this unofficial
jesteśmy
part. Thank you
szczęśliwi,
very
że
much
staliśmy się
together with
częścią
Dr.
jej.
Rożek
To
for
prawda, tym bardziej, że
participating in the
usłyszeliśmy wiele
event.
tych rzeczy, które
Yes,
sami mamy gdzieś
we
głęboko
have
w
heard
sercu,
many
kwestie
things
wiarygodności,
that
kwestie
are very
popularyzacji. W
important to
dwójkę
all of
zajmujemy się
us, credibility,
popularyzacją
popularization
nauki,
of science.
a także to jest taki,
This is part
przynajmniej
of
dla
what
mnie, nie
we
wiem,
do
czy
on
Jarku
everyday
podzielasz ten
basis.
pogląd, to jest taki kolejny
For
krok
me, this is another
po
step
festiwalu nauki. Kolejny
after
krok
the
został
Silesian
zrobiony
Festival of Science.
i
The
myślę, że
next
to pójdzie
step
w bardzo
has
dobrym
been
kierunku, a ja
made,
sam jako
and
absolwent
I think a step
Uniwersytetu
in a very
Śląskiego
good direction.
i jako mieszkaniec
Myself,
regionu
as the
naprawdę
graduate
ciepło mi na
of the
sercu, że
University of
Katowice
Silesia,
będą
I'm very
stolicą
happy,
nauki już tak
and as an
oficjalnie.
inhabitant of
Dla
the
mnie
region,
tak czy inaczej było.
I'm very happy that
Dziękuję bardzo,
it
drodzy
has
Państwo.
become
To jest
official that
wiadomość, która
Katowice
pojawi się
will
w
be
dzisiejszych
the
nagłówkach.
European City of
Katowice
Science.
oficjalnie
This news
są
is going
europejską
to be
stolicą
on the
nauki
headlines today.
2024.
Officially, it has
Dziękujemy
been
bardzo.
already announced that Katowice will
Dziękuję.
be the European City of Science 2024. Thank you very much.